Hello everybody, it's Joanna here, Joanna the Medium. Thank you so much for tuning in. These are going to be your general readings for the month of April 2017. And just like before, I have a slight change again in the way I did it. And Spirit keeps me on my toes. And I just think it's exciting that every month they ask me to do something different. So I think you'll enjoy it because I'm actually separating the reading into different categories. So what I have done in this month of April, I am using only major arcana cards as the overall energy for the month, and then I'm also using the chakra cards to see what chakra will be affected in April. For the remaining of the reading, I have separated them into three categories: love, relationships, money, career, and health. And then I'm using my soul cards so that you can get a feeling of what you get, which you guys really liked last time. And then I give you my interpretation. Now, the month of April seems to be interesting. I actually did the readings over three weeks or so I don't remember all of them. They tend to be a little bit longer this month than last month, and I'm not sure why that's happening. So I'm going to try to keep a lid on it, because sometimes if they get too long, then it gets a little bit boring. But what I wanted to say is this: if some information doesn't relate to you to relationships, maybe the information will connect with you with regards to money or health. So that's why I separated them, because lots of people want to hear different categories, and having them separated, I thought it was actually a great idea when my guide decided that we should do this. And I think next month I'm going to be using different cards again. So I'm keeping it interesting, and I hope you like all the different ways that I do this. It's different and it's kind of exciting, and you never know what to expect. So it certainly keeps me on my toes, and I hope that you enjoy it. I don't think there's anything else other than please tune into my radio show. If you would like to go and to my website and sign up for the newsletter, I will be sending out information with the show dates and also when free readings will take place. So go ahead, sign up, and I will send that to you. And I think that's all I have. So I hope you enjoy them. And of course, please, if you would like a private reading, you can check with me. That information is down below for you. And those are general readings here. So they will not apply to all of you, but they will apply to those who are meant to hear it. And without further ado, also please check out Vimeo videos if you would like for more extended readings. And I think that's all I have. See you in May. Enjoy April, and talk to you soon. Without further ado, let's get going. Welcome back. This is going to be a general reading message for the sign of Scorpio for April 2017. I was shuffling cards and focusing on you and doing a little bit of a meditation. And when I was asking what is the overall energy for the month of April 2017 for the sign of Scorpio, and there's a card that was signified, but this is what I was hearing. I kept seeing the number 7, which to me, 7, aside from the fact that it's a very spiritual number, 7 to me represents mastering an aspect of oneself. And then I hear the word responsibility. So I'm not going to try to attach this word to anything just yet, because I feel it's going to come out in the reading. But there's an expansion within you that will potentially be happening in the month of April for you guys from the sign of Scorpio. And it has to do with the word responsibility. Now, the logical thing to do is to think, well, I'm not responsible. That's not what it means at all. It is about taking responsibility for one's life, learning how to take responsibility for one's life, learning how to be responsible with one's actions with regards to what it is that we want to achieve. So oftentimes our actions will not be aligned with what we want to achieve, because our actions are driven by our subconscious belief, which will block more often than not, actually will block that which we're trying to achieve. So the word responsibility is in a much broader context. The other thing I kept seeing was the number 1. 1 is, the sign of magician. So we'll see if actually that comes up. But it's also a sign of a brand new beginning. A brand new, I actually hear a brand new venture, brand new beginning. But the new beginning feels to me about you. It is the inner you having gone through a major shift or transformation that will allow you, or is allowing you at this time of your life, to begin something very new. Now, for some of you, it will be a physical thing. It's going to be a project. But for most of you, this is an inner beginning. This is an inner newness, an inner transformation, if you will, a brand new beginning based on the way you understand your world at this particular time. And peace is the other word that I kept hearing. So there's with a greater understanding and with a deeper knowledge of ourselves, there is a potential to have greater peace within. That goes hand in hand. It just does. So, which is always why it's said, or why they say, to be happy, you need to find that within yourself. To find peace, you need to first feel peaceful within you, because then you will reflect that peace in the outside, or to the outside, or the outside will reflect that back to you like a mirror would. Now, and then there was some message about relationships, which we'll get into in just a second. So the actual card that does represent the overall energies for April is, actually the card is called Wisdom. It's in reverse, and I'm going to ask why it's in reverse, although I don't feel it's necessarily a reversal this time around. 5 is a number of changes. It is also a number, or what I hear, a change of perspective. It is also about being a teacher and allowing teachers to come to you. The book that this person holds represents wisdom. There's a reason why this book is read. The book is read because it connects often to, it connects to the first chakra. But what I'm getting here is, it is the change in the month of April is around your fears. It's about you understanding your fears from a much deeper perspective. Now, going back to what the message said, and I know it's in reversal, so I'm going to go to it in just a second. Going back to what was said earlier about peace, when we understand our fears from a deeper perspective, we can then begin the healing process, which will inevitably bring us more peace. So there is definitely a change in the air, but I hear the words perspective. And then I hear, allow yourself to be the one to teach to others. And what I hear is that whatever it is that you have been going through in the month of April, I feel like you will gather that info, you will gather that wisdom, and you will somehow project it outward in order to help somebody else. So whether you are in a profession of counselor, whether you are just a buddy with somebody, it doesn't have to be a profession. It is the wisdom you're gaining that will allow you to change a perspective within yourself that you will then give to others to help them do the same. And I hope that's making sense, because I'm literally just hearing it and then trying to say it, and my mind doesn't have time to actually wrap my brain around it, which is actually tricky. Now, why is it in reverse? Well, he says there's a bit of a resistance with this. And I'm saying, what is the resistance? And he says their old ways, stuck in their old ways. So even though there is going to be a potential, no, I'm not going to say even, there is going to be a potential in the month of April for you to overcome some major challenges connected to your innermost fears. And then I hear the word relationships. For some of you, it's going to be about relationships, which, well, all of us have stuff around relationships to some degree, or one extent or another. But there seems to be a bit of a resistance. So just have that in mind. I don't feel the reversal is anything like a red flag, but I actually see a person digging their heels in. And maybe something is going to transpire in the month of April that will allow you to see a different perspective. If this happens, don't resist the change. Don't resist the knowledge. Don't resist whatever is happening, because I do feel there's a profound change in the way you see and feel about things, which is all about perspectives. Now, the card that is, and there's going to be a change with this. The chakra that is the focus in the month of April is interesting, the third eye. So this is your psychic sense. This is your ability to see. This is your ability to imagine. It's a psychic center as well. It's your ability to be clairaudient or seeing. I forget what the clair is. And I want to see why this is coming up. Very interesting, because he says to me, believe, then you shall see. And I'm going to interpret this, even though I'm sure you guys get it. For you first to see something outside of you in a way you want to see it, you first have to believe it. So if you can't believe it, it's going to be very difficult for you to see it, because you won't be able to create it. So that's actually quite interesting. Okay, let's move on to the actual cards of relationship, money, and health. So the card pertaining to your relationship or love, and relationships don't have to necessarily be romantic. Again, I'm going to hold the card up, and then you can feel what comes up for you. When I look at this card, I hear the word transitions. Notice that there is two, looks like salmon, swimming one way, and there is one salmon swimming the other way. The person is looking through and can clearly see these, the fish going in different directions. He's an observer. So what I got was transition first and foremost. Let me just get a bit of a deeper feel into this. Oh my goodness, interesting. He's saying the words, and for those of you who are asking, who is he? He's one of my guides. He's saying the words, see yourself as failure, and so you shall be. Now, I just gotta, oof. So this is, okay, let's break this down. This is clearly going down to deep subconscious beliefs. For most of it, it's going to be subconscious. Some of you will be conscious. With regards to relationships, and this is, doesn't seem to be a predictive message, but it's more of a message, okay, you're having problems with relationships, here is why. Let me tell you. What do you think about yourself? What do you feel about yourself? What do you feel about yourself with regards to others? What do you feel others see you as? What do you feel others should treat you as? Now, none of it is logic. All of it is subconscious. And it's very hard to become aware of our subconscious beliefs unless you're working with somebody who is skilled in it, like I am. I'm also a bit of an X-ray. I can see these things. But there is a way of looking at your environment and your patterns, which will clearly indicate to you what your belief system is. So this is directed at those of you who are struggling in relationships. And when I mean struggling, I'm not talking about a little fight here, little fight there. I'm talking deep struggles over and over and over and feeling like you cannot get it right. And I hear the word used. Some of you, for those of you who feel like you are used in a relationship, and this could be a relationship with a love partner, this could be a relationship with a family member, this could be a relationship with a co-worker or a best friend or a friend. Point is, you need to look at the way you feel about yourself, which then projects a certain vibration, which then attracts people to prove you right. So in other words, to make it simple, if you have a very skewed belief about yourself or who you are, if you feel you are not good enough, if you feel that you can't trust people because for whatever reason, if you feel that there is nobody out there who will love you the way you want to be loved, if you have those deep rooted belief system, guess what? You are going to create it. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's like science. You cannot create something that is contradictory to what you fundamentally believe. It cannot exist. And when it happens, you will find a way to destroy it because it is contradictory to what your truth is. So this is a really deep message for those of you who are struggling in relationships. You are being asked to look in the mirror and ask yourself some pretty tough questions. Not because you are to blame, but because in order for you to understand the reason why you keep getting what you're getting, you need to first understand how you feel about yourself and therefore what you are attracting as a result. Okay? And this is not going to apply to all of you, but it's going to apply to a substantial number of you. And what I've noticed over the last year, particularly the last few months, that the messages that I receive, much of it is very profound material. And it is material that is, for those of you who are ready, will prompt you to dig deep inside in order to have your own revelations. This doesn't seem to be about, you're going to meet somebody there, they're going to come and see you. It's not about that. That is so superficial, it's not even funny. And I don't mean to say that people who predict, because I do as well, to some extent, are superficial. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the information is like a thin layer. There is so much depth that is responsible for what it is that you'll be attracting. So if you constantly keep looking for someone to tell you what's going to happen, you are missing the picture because you're not understanding why what's happening is happening. Okay? So again, okay, perfect. And then he says the word responsibility. So you understanding the way you function at the very depth of who you are will then allow you to feel like you are responsible for life rather than life happening to you. If you fundamentally understand, for example, if you realize that you have a skewed belief system for, because of whatever happened when you were young or not, and you don't love yourself, you feel you are less than, you are inferior, you believe there's nobody good out there, you can't trust. If you understand that and you have the awareness, you can begin to transform it. If you have no knowledge of it, there is no way in hell you can change it because you don't know what you're changing. And that allows you to become responsible for yourself. It's the self-responsibility. It's the perfect analogy with fish, which I gave a few months ago. My job in this world, one of the jobs, is to help you learn how to fish. My job is not, and it's actually not my passion, to give you fish all the time. And the reason why, because when I'm gone, you're stuck in square one. There's nowhere to go. If I can teach you how to fish, then you can be self-sustaining, and then you can take control of your life. And that is so much more empowering, in my opinion and in my experience. So this is about relationship. Deep, deep message. It can pertain to anything, but this is, a lot of it is about you relating to a loved one, or the way they relate to you. But the way, again, they relate to you is the way you relate to yourself, and therefore you relate to somebody else. So I'm going to give you an example, because he says, give them an example. If you are someone who's jealous, overly jealous, you have challenges with trust. If you are jealous, chances are you don't feel good about yourself, and therefore you are jealous because you feel threatened that somebody is going to take your partner away because you're not good enough to keep him or her. So when you break it down, you start to get into the nitty-gritty of what the mechanism is, okay? So that's just an example. But I'm going to move on, and let's go into a fun part, which is money and career. So again, I'm going to hold the card, and right away I hear the word be patient. Be patient about something. So I'm going to hold the card for you. Now this should have been a relationship card because it has two people in it. So notice what you feel. And then what I get is not quite there yet. Now this is career and money. And even though it does represent two people, it shows that they're attached at the head, but there seems to be a distance here. For some reason, something is separating them and they can't come together. So because this is money and career, this to me is talking about opportunities. Now, it could be about relationship, but I'm specifically focusing on money here, and the card just happens to have two people in it. I'm seeing the number 6 with this. 6, aside from 6, is also June. And 6 to me represents harmony, but also expansion on a certain level. It's also self-responsibility, interestingly enough. And no, here's the 6 right there. And that's not why I'm seeing the 6, by the way. 6 months of something. For those of you who are waiting on a project to finish, I hear it's not quite the time yet. Or if you are waiting to start a project, it's not quite time yet. So maybe it's going to be in 6 months, or maybe it's going to be in the month of June. And I feel it's more June than 6 months from now. Or maybe 6 months from whenever you found out about it, and that's the time frame. But it seems to be more around June or 6 months. Some of you building. I hear the word building. So for those of you who are working in an environment where you are building structures, where you are building homes, where you are building centers, where you are in a building environment, there seems to be something around money exchange that you are waiting for. And this is definitely connected to a project. And I do see hands shaking, which to me signifies a deal has been signed and approved, or a stamp of approval has been put on it. But then I hear the word not yet. So some of you are waiting for some kind of a financial assistance, whether it is a loan from the bank, whether it is because you are raising money for a project, or you are looking for people to come on board and invest in your project. And I hear the word building. So for those of you who are working in some capacity connected to buildings, and it could be, hundreds of different ways, there seems to be the financial component that you are waiting on. Okay. Now, some of you are going to have a job change. Now, the change has to do with the structure. So it could be that your job is going to be restructured, or the way, because of somebody else, your position is going to be restructured. The company could be restructured. Your department could be restructured, or you are going to restructure the way you do things in your work or around money. And I also hear the word reshuffling, reshuffling. For some of you, there are for some of you, there's massive changes in your work environment, and this is going to be predominantly for those of you who work for some kind of an institute. And I clearly heard the word institute. Now, the name could have institute, or it could actually just be label for a company, as in, rather than saying company, they're saying institute. But there's something about the word institute here. Massive changes, and I also hear the words layoffs. So for some of you, they're not saying to me that you are getting laid off, but they are saying to me, which is why the word patience came up, but they are saying to me massive layoffs in the industry. So maybe you are worried that you might get laid off. Again, I hear the word not yet. So security obviously is important to all of us. If you have been feeling that there is something might be happening, I hear the word not yet. And I hear the word don't worry, don't fear the worst. Don't fear the worst. And for those of you who are surrounded by a whole bunch of layoffs, and obviously that's not going to apply to all of you, but that's the energy I'm drawn to right now. If you're working in an environment where there's massive layoffs in your industry, I feel your energy is staying. And I see a lot of people moving, a lot of people shuffling around, a lot of people moving around. And some are staying, but whoever you are, you're staying. So this is obviously not going to apply to all of you. It's going to apply to some of you. Now I'm seeing a vision of someone who is, again, buildings come up because he has a hard hat on. Now this person in particular is not doing the construction. It could be, but this person is connected to construction, but I see him looking at like blueprints. So whether it's engineer, whether you are working in a construction environment and there's massive layoffs, there's something there. But again, I feel there's a fear, but I hear do not worry, and I hear the word stay. Okay? Now, anything else about finances? All of a sudden I hear the word mortgage, and then I hear the word approved. Some of you are going to be approved for mortgage. Yay! Very good. And then I hear the month of May. So you are either going to be approved for mortgage around the month of May, or you are going to be placing your house property for sale or purchasing around the month of May. Okay? And those two are very connected. So you may be getting approved for loan in April and purchasing in May, or you may be getting approved closer to May or in May. Okay. And this is definitely for a purchase. For some of you, it's about a car. Some of you, it's property. Okay. And the property could be anything. I also heard the word condo. All of a sudden, I hear the word New York. So for some of you, you live in New York, or you are looking to move from New York or to New York, or purchase in New York or surrounding areas or New York State. And then I hear the word by the sea or by the ocean. Well, what comes to me is, well, New York is connected to water. So I'm going to leave that with you. Because I could get into a whole bunch of different scenarios here. Okay, now let's move on to health. And then I'm going to hold the card for you. And then I'll see. Oh, beautiful. Okay. I don't do these cards in reversals, by the way. That is not how I read those cards. It's just intuitively, I feel this is not what I'm going to do. So this card comes up so much. And the funny thing about those cards is that there is 65 or 72 cards in a deck. I can't see. And the same cards come up over and over and over. Like, there are cards that I've never seen, and I shuffle them every single day. So it's just interesting how my energy picks up certain things. So this is a card, whatever you feel, and that's right for you. But this to me indicates birth. Okay, now remember, this is about health. So some of you are pregnant. Some of you are going to become pregnant. Some of you are going to be giving birth in or around the month of May, which could also be end of April. So April, May is kind of squished together in this message. Then I hear the word complications, and then I hear the word don't worry. But when I connect with the word complications, I feel you have had complications in the past. This is not a prediction. You have had complications in the past, and therefore you are worried. And you're being told, or the message is, if you've had complications, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry, it's going to be fine. So this is going to obviously be not for all of you. It's going to be for very few of you. Now, this could be complications with a pregnancy. You might have had complications with this pregnancy at the beginning, or you might have complications with other pregnancies prior to this one, if in fact you're becoming pregnant. Okay, so that's for the pregnant kind. For others of you, I'm actually hearing the word throat. And I hear the word speak up. How does this connect into health? Other than you might have challenges in your throat. This could be, anything from a serious disease to thyroid to, anything. But what they're saying here is, speak up for yourself, speak up for yourself. This could be literally meaning, one of the reasons why you're having challenges with your throat is because you're not speaking up, or you haven't spoken up before. And for some of you is you need to speak up about your health concerns to your doctor, or your health professional, because someone is not hearing you. They're not hearing you. And then I hear the word find other alternatives. So if you have been dealing with some kind of a health condition, and I'm saying, is it serious? And he's saying not serious. So for most of you, it's not going to be serious. For some of you, yes. And this is not you will be, this is you have been dealing with it already in the past or up until this point. He says you need to find a different alternative, or look for an alternative. Alternative could be an alternative healthcare provider, or it could be an alternative medicine, alternative something to help you feel better. Jeez. Some of you drink too much coffee, because he's saying to me stomach and then coffee. So, and then indigestion. So for those of you who are drinking too much coffee, and you know who you are, maybe just pay attention to how your body feels and what your body is telling you, or what your intestines or your stomach is telling you. I clearly hear the word indigestion. Okay. Now, indigestion could be for many, many reasons. And I'm going to leave that to you. But you're supposed to start paying more attention to it, because it's not enough to pop pills and acids. That's like a Band-Aid. It doesn't do anything. You need to find the cause. So please start paying more attention. And for some of you, you're going to be going through some challenges in your health, but it's signifying ending of certain challenges with your health, which is really good. And I'm hearing the word May. So some of you have been dealing with something, but in the month of April and towards May, it is definitely a possibility that you will be finally ending something that you've been struggling with for quite some time. And I think that's all I have. This was a long message anyway. They're a little bit longer this month, so if they're too long, my apologies. I hope this made sense to you. If you would like to comment, please do. I love hearing your comments. If you would like a private message, of course, that information is down below for you. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, for liking, and for subscribing. This means to me more than you'll ever know, and actually that's why I do it. So thank you so much. I wish you best of luck, lots of peace in the month of April, and I'll see you soon.